Well, good morning. So, I just would like to thank y'all out there around the world for giving me 1.2K on two videos that I made recently. One is called I Saw Red Flags. I appreciate the 1.2K views on that. And the other video is called it was a story time that I did recently when I had the green dress on. And I'm thinking that was a story about either one of my exes or something. And I also made 1.2K views on that video. And I'm so appreciative of that. So I want to thank y'all for that also. I'm fixing to give a little short story time. See. Okay. So when I used to live on the north side of Houston, I lived next door to this person that I really didn't like too much. She was one of those females who was like, no, just the women of the world. Just the type of female. If she saw that you had a boyfriend that was coming over to see you, then she would purposely come outside on the porch with shorts up her ass and bend over and try to get your man's attention or something. That's the type of person that she was. So one morning, my daughter and I was getting ready to leave, and then my ex of 5 years was outside starting up the car. Okay, so she, my neighbor, her and her 3 kids were on the porch. So she didn't have a car at the time, so I guess she felt like instead of asking me, would I mind taking her kids to school? And she was on the porch with a short robe on and a tank top and nothing else on but some drawers. So I'm guessing she wanted my dude at the time to look at her, which he did get a glimpse of her. He did look at her. But, he didn't disrespect me. But at the same time, he still shouldn't have looked either. So he was trying to warm up the car while me and my daughter had got in the car. She's standing on her porch with that little short robe on and tank top and drawers. And I mean, that robe was short. And her kids looking at us just like she's standing there looking at us, but she was majority looking at him. And he tried to cut his eye and act as if he wasn't paying any attention to her. But you know how men are. They gonna look regardless. They don't care. So after he warmed up the car, because this was winter time, after he warmed the car up, then he started the car up. And when we drove away, that is when she had her kids to come in the house. And she came in the house also. So I'm like, okay, I don't really know what was her point of standing in the door, because she lived right next door to me, looking at him. Because I guess because it was his car, she wanted to ask my dude, could he drop her kids off? And some women are just so hoish, they don't care what toes they step on, they don't care who they disrespecting. At the same time, she knew this was my dude, so. And then he has told me other times when I was at work and he was at the house sitting on the porch, she would try and spark up a conversation with him. And I told him, you probably went on ahead and held a conversation with her. And then he said, it's nothing wrong with speaking to the neighbors. You need to learn how to be friendly and not act like that. I say, first of all, these are not your neighbors. You live with me. You live with me. You don't really stay over here. Let's keep it real. You stay with me. So you don't speak to no female neighbors over here unless I tell you it's okay for you. But he would do that anyway, because you know how men are. Men are just they don't be caring. But for every time that he disrespected me behind my back with the female neighbor, you best believe I had got him back. He got his karma. There's so many stories that I can come up with that I've had with my ex of 5 years, because I can't believe that I let somebody live with me that long. And the main reason why I let him live with me that long was because I really did believe in true love, and I really did feel like he, on the real, for real, like cared about me and wanted to be with me. Honestly, it was mostly, I feel like he really, like, when he was living with me, he sometimes would treat me like a roommate. And I would have to let him know, dude, don't get it twisted. If you fuck up more than once, you're out of here. And I would put him out all the time. It ain't just about him disrespecting me with my female neighbors. It's the principle. How are you going to be all up in my neighbors' faces, whether you think I'm in the house cooking or whether I'm not around, or if I'm at work or something? Why are you having sideward conversations with these females who are my neighbors? And he has done that to me more than once. One time in particular, I almost caught him. My daughter called me to the door once when I was in the kitchen trying to cook. And she let me know one of my neighbors, he was down there talking to her, and she had offered him a beer. And that dude lied about that so many times, because I asked him, I'm like, if my daughter saw you talking to another female, there is nothing she has to lie about. And then he said, no, I was down there talking to her boyfriend because I knew him all my life. I'm like, you a motherfucking lie. But like I said, it's just so many stories that I have about him. The stories that I've done on him, or those are stories that are just the beginning. But it's so many things that person had put me through. In the beginning, I didn't really think that, I didn't really think that person was hateful. I didn't really think that person would switch up on me once I let him move in with me. There'd be times when he would be so mad at me, he would sit in the walk-in closet, folding his clothes. He would give me the silent treatment for days. If he was angry at me about something, or if he was depressed about something, and I did not like that. Because I really went through something. I could have had prevented all the things that I went through if I would not have just let a boyfriend invade my personal space. But I was nice enough to let him live with me. Is just unappreciative. He just showed me he didn't appreciate it. And then he brought his 3 kids in my home. Just like that Beyonce song say, with your 3 kids in my home. How you gonna bring your 3 kids in my home and your 3 kids not only disrespecting me, but they're tearing up my apartment. They broke my daughter's bedroom blinds in her window. They dirtied up everywhere around the house. And I told him right after he sent them outside to go get in the car with their mom, because their mom picked them up, because they had spent a week or 2 weeks with me, him, and my daughter. And I told him, you could have made your kids help clean my daughter's room, because they were in there every day, and I would hear you while I would be in the bed, sleep early in the morning, tell them that it was okay for them to come in there. But they dirtied my daughter's room up and tore up her blinds. And I blame you. And if you weren't going to make your kids clean her room, the least you could have done was clean it yourself. But you should have made your kids clean my daughter's room, period. Tell me why this dude acted like he wanted to jump on me. He said, you don't be saying nothing about my motherfucking kids. He just got belligerent and irate that day, so I had put him out, and I called the police, and I made him stay away for a whole month, because I don't care what I said to you to piss you off about your kids. It was the truth. Not one time did I whoop his kids. Not one time did I yell at his kids while his kids was in my house. And one of his kids had tried to provoke a fight with my daughter. So I was already salty about that, because he wanted to sit there and act as if what happened didn't occur, or he's like, well, your daughter made my daughter bump her head, and now she has this huge bump on her forehead, and I have to explain that to her mom. And I'm like, dude, that's besides the point. Your daughter attacked my daughter first, so she got what she got. Now that sounds petty, the way I said it, but he just dude, you and your kids are a guest in my home, so you don't have the right to tell me that, oh, don't talk about my kids. You and your kids can leave as far as I'm concerned. That's my house. I pay the rent and the light bill. And I told him that to his face. But I just did 2 story times in one story. Well, I don't know. I just have things on my mind. Sometimes when I can't sleep because I just recently woke up, I just like to talk sometimes. So I guess I'm about to make me some coffee, and I might be back later once the sun come up, because it's like around 3 a.m. something in the morning. And I will talk to y'all later. So